Okay, we got some stuff, we got some ideas, and we are gonna get home and discuss. What did you get? Oh yeah, you got a
mouse.
Zach got a mouse.
A feeder mouse.
No, what are you naming it? No, you got a live mouse.
No,
Alright, so we just got back, and now what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna do a ton of stuff, because I'll tell you what, that ribbed Newt inspired me. He's so cool, he's so derpy, he's got so much, I don't know if he has a lot of personality, but he's cool and he takes up space, and it's something that I've never cared for before, so I really want to start working on that, which I guess is what this video is about. But what we're also going to do is we're going to set up the 40 gallon. Now it's got like the Mustafar Star Wars Lego setup, and it's super cool. Summer hates it. But what we're going to do is we're going to start cycling this because we need to move the bristlenose pleco from the 75 gallon because it could hurt the rib Newt, and we don't want that. We don't want it to latch on just in case, because they eat a lot and sometimes they can get too hungry and they'll latch onto the slime coat. So we don't want that. So we're gonna put in the pleco into this 40 gallon aquarium just so he's out of the way, and that way we can have something, you know, just one of something to start cycling this tank. Not that we're not gonna cycle it before we put him in. We are definitely gonna cycle it before we put him in. I never cycle with fish. It's not a good idea. If we come over here into the bedroom, which is soon to become a dining room, we have a couple of tanks. We have a few tanks actually. We've got the 75 gallon Paludarium. We've got the 5 gallon quarantine tank. We've got the 5 gallon semi-ice. It's gonna become some kind of terrarium. And then we've also got a 10 gallon aquarium down here that doesn't have the best seals, but I think we're still gonna make something out of it. So as you can see in here, past the glare, we've got our plants in here. We got cryptococcine. It's assorted. They didn't tell us which. If you guys want to name them in the comments, be my guest. So we're going to put that in. We got to put some substrate into the corner tank. We're going to put in some of the enriched substrate that Zach gave me. Stratum, I believe it's called, fluval stratum. We're going to put it in there. And that's just going to help with the cycling process because eventually we're going to have something in there. And then, yeah, but we're going to start with the 40 gallon and getting a Lego out and setting that up. Okay, so now we're in the future dining room with the 75 gallon Paludarium. The driftwood has been boiled, so any impurities should be out for the most part. We've got our cryptococcine in here that has been floating for a little while. I think we're gonna drip acclimate. We probably don't need to so much now that it's been temperature acclimated, but we might as well just so I know how to do it for the future. So it's getting pretty late now. I mean, these eye bags, well, that's quite the foot. We're gonna put the substrate in. This is, like I said, it's stratum, so it's good for growing plants. Then we're gonna put in the cryptococcine. We're gonna drip acclimate it, like I said. We're gonna put in the driftwood, and then we're going to call it a night. I was going to put in new filtration because I know that these Newts can put out quite a bit of waste. So maybe I'll add to the filtration. I don't know what Ethan wants for the filtration in his tank, but we'll figure that out later. He's coming up this weekend. So we'll end the video with the discussion after the cinematic, and then I will see you guys next Sunday after that. Alright, so we're back. Let's summarize kind of what we did in this video and also what we're thinking of doing in future videos. So in this video, we filled up the 40-gallon aquarium. At this point, it's pretty much fully cycled. I'm still going to run it for a while before we put fish in there, but it's almost good to go. In the 75-gallon, we've got our cryptocoryne over there. We've got some new driftwood in there. The driftwood is starting to mold, and it's kind of caught onto the plant, unfortunately, onto some of the roots, but I'm thinking we're going to get a nearite snail, probably some cherry shrimp, and those will probably be the only inhabitants in the corner tank. It was, it's only 2 gallons, a lot smaller than I thought it was, so those are probably going to be the only things in there. Still very cool, because cherry shrimp are probably not going to do very well in there, and that little corner just gives me a little bit of an ability to take all of Hope's cull cherry shrimp, because she's trying to produce a certain color, so I'll just get all the off colors out of there. In the opposite corner, right there, Anakin's doing all right. We'll probably get him some more anole buddies in, in a few weeks, in a few videos. Probably not going to be one of the first things that we do, because there are much bigger things coming. We have a little 5-gallon there that I've got some darkling beetles breeding in, the mealworm beetle, and also we have some pill bugs in there, or some, I think they're called armadillo bugs. It's the technical term for them. And then in the quarantine tank, we had a beta that had dropsy, and it died, unfortunately. I didn't really expect it to last very long. Dropsy is not something that a fish can really recover from, so that's too bad, but not entirely unexpected. And then we still have our whiptail catfish in there, who tonight or last night I got a buyer on it from somebody came into the store. They were looking for something awesome that we didn't have at the store, and I'm like, would you like a whiptail catfish? And they're like, yeah, man, I love a whiptail catfish. So hopefully they're going to be coming this week, and that'll free up our quarantine tank for much bigger things, much newer, cooler things that we will later put into the main 75-gallon Paludarium, at least the water side of it. Now, what are those things going to be? There were a lot of cool options at Critter Jungle when Zach and I last went in this video. And one of the coolest options for me was that ribbed newt. Now, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on it. Like, I've never had a newt before. So if you guys have any, last second tips on, or last second, cautionary tales of failure, please let me know those now. But I think it would be super cool if I had a newt in this Paludarium with lizards on top. Now, I'm not sure how much waste a newt produces, but being that the body of the fish is pretty thick around, thicker than any fish that I've had before, it probably does produce a fair amount of waste. And being that newts are usually kept in temperatures between, I think 66 to 72, it's probably going to speed up the metabolism a lot more than it's used to when it's in warmer water, which is going to make it produce more waste. Because of that, I'm not quite sure if I should keep it as a sponge filtration system. It is easier. I can have the sponge, off one pump, I can have the sponge there, 2 sponges in there, and another sponge in the quarantine tank. But if I need more filtration, I have that internal filter, which hopefully won't clog up because of the sand. That is a big issue with sand, is it'll wreck your equipment. Another issue is we will need to remove some of the fish. Corridoras are a big issue when being kept with amphibians. There's a lot of stories of, catfish in general, really. There's a lot of stories of catfish being swallowed by a newt or an axolotl or something like that. I don't know why you would ever keep a corridor with an axolotl, but there are cases where it's been swallowed and the spines pierce through the bottom of the newt's or whatever amphibian's jaw, and it gets stuck in there. It suffocates the newt. Eventually the corridora starves out because it can't get out, and it's really just not a good situation for either. So I'm going to be selling the corridoras out of there. I'm going to probably have to put the bristlenose pleco. Now, the bristlenose is a classic. I've had them in my inner circle for a while. First Mead and Zach. If you guys haven't seen that video, it'll be right there when I got the bristlenose pleco back. So that's probably going to go in the 40-gallon with Ethan's fish if he's okay with it. If not, I don't know. It's not necessarily going to hurt the newt, but it might produce too much waste for my filters to handle. This newt is going to be the primary waste producer in the tank. The Harlequin rasboras will also be going, and I think what I want to start doing is keeping fish that actually like my water. Now, the most obvious are live bears. Killifish would actually be really cool as well. I saw those flagfish, which are a type of killifish, at the store. They kind of look like platies, but they're more of a rare type fish, and it could be a cool experience to have those. They're a little bit aggressive, they're a little bit touchy, but their breeding behavior is really cool. I just don't know if it would be a good enough fit. What I could do is I could have a type of Variatus platy. I could have some kind of rarer platy that would make some money back if I bred it. Most platies, you breed and you're kind of paying people to take those babies because they just produce so much and everybody already has some. So I think what I might do is I'll have some of those more rare platies in there with the Newt. The Newt, I don't know if you guys saw one of my previous videos, but I took a video of it hunting in a mono shrimp, and they're one of the worst hunters I've ever seen. Now, it could just be because they've been lab bred for so long. These are fish that have been used in laboratory studies for the regeneration of limbs. So most of these, I think, are going to be from lab-bred specimens, like down the line from lab-bred specimens. And so their hunting skills really are not up to par. I don't really think that he's going to eat a Corydoras. At least I don't think it's very likely, but I'm just going to get those out of there just in case. Now, I have read stories about them being kept with coolie loaches, which is weird because coolie loaches like hotter temperatures and Newts like colder temperatures, or not colder, but cooler. But apparently it works, so I'm hoping that it works with me, and they don't eat coolie loaches apparently. And that could again just be because they're lab bred so thoroughly that they lost their hunting instincts. But I think it would be really cool having them with coolie loaches in there. So in summary, what I want to do, if you guys think I should change the filtration, then I might change the filtration. I think it works okay now. Obviously there's no chemical filtration, but let me know your thoughts on that. Give me an argument. It's going to be mostly just for the Newt. It's going to be, I think, like a foot-long Newt. Most of that is tail, so it's not that big. But we're going to have a Newt in there. We're going to have some kind of hard water, mid-water swimming fish. That's either going to be those killifish or those platies, but if you guys have other suggestions, just let me know. And then we're going to have the coolie loaches, and I'm thinking a lot of different types of shrimp. Now, shrimp don't do the best in terms of breeding in my water, but brackish shrimp could be a really cool idea. I thought about bamboo shrimp, which I've had some bad experiences with. If you guys, actually, no, I'm not even going to link that video because it's not that great. But with bamboo shrimp or flower shrimp or whatever you want to call them, they tend to jump out. They tend to need really, really dirty water to be able to filter feed properly. Now, this is quite tannized water, and there are a lot of particulates floating up, so it could work. Again, let me hear your argument on that. But I'm thinking a mono shrimp. I'm thinking vampire shrimp would be really, really cool. Those are expensive, but I think it'd be really cool. And from what I've seen at the store, they actually keep their Newt with a mono shrimp, and they said they've kept it with it for months. It's never eaten it, so I'm hoping that works for me. And even if there is some kind of issue when they're molting, I have lots of rocks that I can make cave structures out of for them to molt in. Let me know what you guys think about all these ideas. I'm super excited. Seeing that Newt in that store really reignited my passion of building aquariums and paludariums. If you guys like this video, make sure you leave it a like. If you want to see more like this and hopefully better than this, make sure you subscribe, and I promise you won't miss a single video. And I will see you guys next Sunday.